Everyone, welcome to the 11th episode of Soulful Branding Live with Lulu. So today I'll be talking about keeping your brand soulful through a crisis. I'll be sharing from my own experience and leaving you with 5 tips to consider for your own personal or business brand. I think it's clear to all of us that from this time of COVID-19 onwards, business cannot continue as usual. This moment is putting us through all kinds of professional and personal strains, from financial concerns, worries around our employment and keeping our businesses afloat, added responsibilities with children at home, and the trauma of losing a way of life that's all we've ever known. I don't know about you, but I woke up the other day exhausted. I realized that I needed to find a more sustainable way of being in this moment and beyond. I had to find new coping mechanisms in order to show up how I need to so that I can uphold my responsibilities to my family, to my employees, to my clients, and to all the people who are served by what I do. While at the same time, of course, taking care of myself so that I'm around to fulfill these obligations. Rest is a crucial part of that, and to make sufficient room for it, I had to start thinking in terms of minimal viable action. For somebody who is always brimming with ideas, whether for new offerings or about how to improve things, this is really difficult for me. But I had to ask myself, what is truly essential right now? For my business, the essential things are cash flow for this moment and cash flow for a couple of months from now, because I don't know what things are going to look like a couple of months from now. So in that order, this is how I've been approaching my task list every day, prioritizing the actions that are going to contribute to those two things. Arguably, it's how we should approach our task lists every day, whether in times of crisis or not. But what about our soulful brands? I realize there's another important element to be considered that will actually contribute to my bottom line, particularly when I'm thinking about cash flow for the future. And that element is keeping my brand soulful. That's showing up in a way that people have come to expect and staying true to the brand promise that I've established, especially in this time of crisis. So why is this important? This is a time of filtering, of weeding out all the things that are no longer serving us. I feel that people are asking themselves difficult questions and aligning their actions with what is truly in their hearts. So they will be questioning whether your brand is still relevant to them. Some people might decide that it's not. However, it's also a time of discovery. People are searching for brands and people that align and that are offering what they need. So there is an opportunity for them to find you. So being intentional about keeping your brand soulful during this time does two things. One, it reminds your existing audience of why they've devoted their time and patronage to you, but it also encourages new audiences to explore how you can add value to their lives. So how do we keep our brand soulful when most of the time we just want to crawl under the covers with a decadent brownie and some Netflix on the screen? I mean, that's my dream scenario right now, especially with this weather. Well, I'd like to share 5 ideas with you. 1, self-care first. There's a thought that has been central to all of this Afri-love stuff since I started it almost 10 years ago. And that's that it starts with self. I believe that everything really does start with looking at ourselves. So keeping your brand soulful through a crisis starts with taking care of yourself. In the previous episode of Soulful Branding Live with Lulu, I spoke about what the hell self-care has to do with branding. If you missed it, I've provided the link in the notes. But to summarize, when our emotional and mental well-being is well taken care of, we are more present, we express ourselves better and more authentically, with all of our light shining in our lives and consequently in our personal and business branding. You can show up well for others until you've taken good care of yourself. So be kind to yourself. Take those naps, indulge in that creative self-care, do nothing. Top up your tank of emotional and mental resilience. For me lately, that's involved getting more sleep, going back to doing some yoga every day, however short the practice is. I'm watching an uplifting episode of Queer Eye a few times a week. And fun with art, with my son, and also when I'm creating for my Plant Something Weekly challenge. So my second tip is to check in with your purpose. I read a great caption yesterday from a Seiko artist on Instagram, and I want to share a part of it with you. What are you doing? Do you love it? At this monumental time in history, we have been given a unique opportunity to look inward and bring out the things that we love. Let your love give birth to something uniquely special to you during this time of isolation, and remember to do it for you. So, just as people may be asking themselves difficult questions about their consumption, it might be a good time to ask yourself some difficult questions about your production. Why are you doing what you're doing? And is it still relevant for you? We serve others better when we do it with love. So is it worth pursuing a direction with your brand that you're not in love with yourself? I have a couple of past episodes you might find useful in this exercise of checking in with your purpose. It's episode 7, titled Finding Your Purpose, and episode 1, which is What Do You Want to Be Known For? And both of them are linked in the notes. When COVID-19 became a reality for us in Kenya, it accelerated a lot of thoughts that had been going through my mind regarding my own brand. Somehow, the uncertainty helped certain things to crystallize, and I felt so much more purposeful and confident about how to show up for my audience. I'm also currently updating my website, and it's really exciting because for the first time in a really long time, it feels like it's really going to be a vehicle for me to articulate the clarity that I feel inside. So tip 3 is cohesion. Once you've checked in with your purpose and it sits well within your heart, it's time to review whether all that you put out there is in alignment with it. It's so easy for our activities to feel all over the place in terms of spaces where we're networking, content that we're publishing, tasks on our list, opportunities we're pursuing, things we're saying yes to, and more. In chaotic times, we may be even more prone to getting lost in, or perhaps escaping by, being busy. We can easily lose track of what is most important, of what is most true to our purpose, and what is actually going to get us the results that we desire. I feel it's critical now more than ever to step back and plan. You guys know I'm a planner, so this stuff is actually exciting to me, and it can be for you too. Check out, if you haven't already, episode 9, which is titled Planning for Excellence, and I share some ideas about how to enjoy the process. Streamline. Given your purpose, revisit the following things. Your ideal client or customer profile, intimately explore what drives them and what they want. Revisit your offer to them. What is your main promise to them? What are your key products and services that are delivering that promise? And also revisit the key 3 to 5 themes for your business. These should sit at the intersection of what your ideal client or customer wants, your promise to them, and what you love yourself. Once you've got this down, ensure all your activities and all your content is in line with this. On social media, find the hashtags that speak to your themes and engage with people who are talking about them. Use the hashtags yourself. You can build your engagement, your reach, and your community this way. So, tip number 4 is have fun. What is being soulful if it isn't having fun? For those of you who've taken my Soulful branding course in the past, you know that I insist the branding process should be fun. You're presenting to the world what's in your heart, and that should be satisfying and delightful. If it isn't, there are a few things that could be the problem. Perhaps you're holding back from letting your true self shine in your brand. Perhaps you're stuck in some kind of expectation about how you think you should be doing things. Or perhaps you just haven't really done the work of getting clear about what you want to be known for and of finding your voice. So let me know if any of these blocks resonate with you and I can help you out. Otherwise, go forth into the world and have fun with how you're putting yourself out there. Your audience will sense and be captured by that feeling themselves. Tip 5 is community. Last but not least, find a community that keeps you inspired, that keeps you nourished, and keeps you nurtured. You are not alone in what you're feeling and experiencing, and you don't have to be alone in navigating through it. Find yourself a safe space to speak your truths and to figure everything out, where people are going to be supporting you, sometimes challenging you, because sometimes that's what we need, but always celebrating you. I have found that right here in the Afri-love Women group. So thank you. And with members of the Afri-love Connection Club too. So I would love to hear from you. What are you doing to keep your brand soulful through this crisis? Feel free to share your experiences and any questions in the comments below. Thank you for listening. If you found today's episode useful, please do share it with somebody who you think could benefit from it. And stay tuned for episode 12 next month. Until then, go on with your bad, soulful selves. Bye.